So unlike men whose hormone cycle follows a 24-hour window, for women our biological clock follows something called the infradian rhythm, which is a 28 to 32 day cycle and which governs almost everything about your body rather than just menstruation. So it is very simple. You need to stop living like a man and cycle sync through all areas of your life. You won't believe me, I have been slowly cycle syncing and it has worked wonders for my productivity and energy levels. And I am able to maintain that consistency throughout my routines and in a more disciplined manner, which is more about my body and my wellness that are unique to me. So today we'll be talking about cycle syncing. But before that, welcome back to Lady Coco Goes everyone. My name is Devika Haridas and in this channel we talk a lot about organic wellness and mindful living for all of us who wants to reconnect with ourselves and to Mother Earth. So without further delay, let's get into it. So I have been wanting to talk about cycle syncing for some time now because it forms the base of all our wellness routines. And since it is a very vast topic and we are actually going to get into the detail of about how we're going to cycle sync as a South Asian women, be it our diet, be it our movement and grounding routine. So this will be a series and this is our first video and I just hope that we will be able to complete successfully. We'll be talking about cycle syncing as a concept today and for all of you who does not know what cycle syncing, this is the video for you, and all of you guys who know what cycle syncing but is yet to actually implement it through your life, let this be your motivation. Also take notes if you want because this is going to be eye-opening. So let's get into what we're going to cover today. So firstly, we'll talk about cycle syncing. We'll also talk about how is the hormonal cycle for women and how it's different from men. We'll also understand the different phases of a hormonal cycle in very simple terms so that you can understand and grasp characteristics of each cycle so you know what your different phase is about and what you should do in these different phases. Also talk about how to actually sync your diet, your productivity, your work into your cycle so that you are at your peak vibration, your peak energy, and also you get your much needed rest and rejuvenation as well. Cycle syncing essentially means that you intentionally align your diet, your movement routines, your nutrition according to your hormonal phases, or rather than giving a one size fit for every day when your body is biochemically different in all your phases. How does it actually translate into our everyday? So when I tell you guys that it is different from men, I am not saying that you are different from men or you have different energy levels like men or anything. Most of the research that was done has been done on male bodies, and this one size fits all concept has circulated throughout history, and the modern concepts of productivity and rest and work has all centered around how productivity and how these cycles look for men rather than women. So cycle syncing is all about redefining this entire thing and understanding your body, your mind, your hormonal cycles, and it is going to make a different sense altogether. So what is a woman's hormonal cycle exactly? Firstly, we have four phases. The first one is the menstrual phase, and then we have the follicular phase, and then we have the ovulatory phase, and then it's the luteal phase. So the menstrual phase begins on the day of your periods. Okay? It is when your hormones estrogen and progesterone are at their lowest and your body is actually removing everything that it does not want. So it is all about rest, rejuvenation for us. And your nervous system is also very sensitive. So it is the time when you really turn inward and you actually close the entire world up. So when the menstruation is finally over and when the estrogen and progesterone slowly starts rising, that's when we come into our second phase, which is the follicular phase. The follicular phase is all about, new beginnings and new learnings, because it is when your energy levels are also slowly rising and you have a new sense of optimism, and then there is a sense of a new beginning coming your way. So once that is over, you have a very brief window when you are at your peak, when estrogen is at your peak, and you feel the most magnetic, most radiant in your whole cycle. That's called the ovulatory phase. The ovulatory phase is literally when the egg is released and it is fully ready to become pregnant if it needs. Okay, so that's when you are really magnetic and you go into a room and people can actually feel your presence before you even speak. So it's a very brief window and your energy levels are literally at its peak and you're also physically at your most strongest at this time. Finally, we come into our luteal phase. Luteal phase is also a slightly longer phase, but not that long as the follicular phase. So in luteal phase is when you enter your no bullshit mode. You are focused, you're grounded. It's when your body is have started becoming sensitive. Progesterone also rises. Your energy levels slowly starts dipping. You also notice a slow but steady drop in your strength as well. So that is about luteal phase. And in the second phase of luteal phase, when the pregnancy does not happen, is when the progesterone and estrogen dips, and finally we go into the menstrual phase where the uterus lining breaks and it is released. Men should work with their cycle and not fight against it. So in practical terms, it looks like eating foods that support your dominant hormones in different phases, or scheduling your workouts in such a manner that you do your most intensive and heavy workouts in maybe the ovulatory phase. You understand what your body is going through and you stop fighting your body, right? When you are in a period when your body needs the rest and rejuvenation, you can't expect it to perform at its peak productivity, and you also stop labeling those days as lazy or you beat yourself for it, which is not what we do at all. For me as a South Asian woman, it was all about coming home, because this kind of nutrition and practice was all embedded in our culture, but we slowly forgot it along the way. When your grandmothers used to make these very good blood boosting laddus towards the end of your luteal cycle, and they actually forced you to eat some sesame or do some oil massages during the particular time. And so for us, maybe it sounded like chaos, but there was an underlying mathematics of it all, and that is cycle syncing. But I know it can be a little confusing and a little complicated if you're really starting out. But I am going to give you guys a very simple formula so that you can remember what the phases are about and how you need to treat your body in that phase. Okay? So I am going to compare our menstrual cycle to that of lunar cycle. In lunar cycle, think about your menstrual phase like the new moon. So that is when it is dark, it is quiet, but there is also a time that is all about stillness and recovery. And slowly, when you move towards your follicular phase, that is when you can imagine how the moon slowly increases its size and its radiance. So it is all about new beginnings, creativity, imagination. You can slowly start building your work, your exercise, your nutrition, etc. And in the full moon is when you are the most radiant. When you know how full moon is, right? It's the most beautiful in the sky. You know it's a full moon day even when you haven't seen the moon. Okay? So you are your most radiant, you are the most magnetic. It is all about equal giving and equal attracting. And finally, towards the luteal phase is when the moon slowly wanes. It is going towards a new moon. So, guys, you don't have to overhaul your entire life at once. Okay, you can slowly ease your way into it. When I started out this video and when I did my research for this, I knew that there are so many things to learn about your body, your wellness, your hormones. Of course, I had started, cycle syncing in some areas of my life, but there was an it was an entire knowledge system altogether, and we are slowly going to try this in our life. And I am also like you guys, I'm also a beginner at this, but I already started maybe a little while ago. I know it works wonders for your body, for your productivity, etc. Also, what I want to talk about is that the mainstream media and the mainstream culture really pushes, women to be kind of, all embodying goddesses. uh, Maybe every day you are managing your house, you're managing your workplace, you are managing your bosses, your kids, you're managing your siblings and whatnot. You have the entire world on your shoulders, and it expects you to perform, to be in that strong energy almost every day. But your body, your nature is not about that. So really we need to understand our bodies differently, and we don't need to fight our bodies. We don't need to fight ourselves. Since we are women, we will actually learn how to live with it. That is all about it, and cycle syncing is just the first step towards it. When I started out making this video, I understood that this is such a vast topic to cover, and it is going to be helpful for everyone, even for me who is making this, right? So in the coming videos, we are going to really get into the diet and exercise, your overall wellness, work and productivity, etc. So I am going to drop videos on every Saturday. So you have 1 week to actually implement and see how it's working out for you. And do tell me how you guys like it. So I know that it's really difficult for us to actually track in what phase of the cycle we are in at the moment. So the easiest method to do is to use a period tracking app. So I use an app called Flow. This is not a paid promotion at all, but Flow has really helped me to know which phase of the cycle I am in. So I suggest you guys to download any period tracking app that you have. So that is one thing. So in next video, we will be talking in detail about diet and nutrition, and I'll also be taking an angle specifically as a South Asian woman, and how to integrate what we actually eat, our food habits, our cultural habits into our routines, so that you don't have to search or you don't have to go anywhere else to procure the items that your body needs. It's everything is around you, everything is in the food that you eat. So we'll get really in detail about diet and nutrition in the next video. So look forward to it. And if you have any suggestions and comments, I would really love to hear from you guys. Please do comment in the comment box, and I go through all of your comments, and it's such a delight for me to interact with my community, especially since I am a budding creator. I really need the support from all of you so that we can grow together in this journey. So that's it for today's video, everyone. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so that you don't miss out in future as well. Next video, next Saturday. Bye bye.